Alright, so it's turn 35. We've moved in a besieged old land. And this turn was hilarious, I'm just gonna say. Because... So remember how Demise had said he was setting himself AI? Well, he did it. And then on Discord, he's like, okay, so I actually didn't mean to do that. How can you set yourself AI without meaning to do that? Apparently, he said, well, I thought I was dead, and then I ended the turn, came back to look at it, sent a bunch of orders in, and forgot to cancel the AI order. So he's gone AI now. So he's just, like, it's a free-for-all in the orders of the Order of the Divine, in the lands of the Order of the Divine Flame here, which is great. Unfortunately, that does mean that these polemarks he's got are probably going to kind of break out and rampage around a little bit. So I'm going to launch my Vamps out to... I want to keep my Vamps with the army to provide the chaff functionality of spamming out those skeletons, which is really, really useful. You can see in this battle here in Old Land how that worked out for me, and the answer is it worked out really, really well. So I've got all my troops scattered around here, my mages scattered around. Everyone kind of blocks up on this big line of Sawoi I have, and then when I start spamming skeletons, these chaff units essentially absorb the damage of all these gladiators that the AI had out patrolling. He's got Aster the Polemark in the back, who is not accomplishing much at all. But you see, like, you know, the flame bolts start coming in, and the gladiators come in and start killing, and the meteors start falling, and mostly they're just landing on skeletons. So, you know, I don't really have to worry about it that much. Like, yeah, I kill a couple of my own Sawoi with friendly fire, and I kill a couple of my own centaur chariots, but primarily it's skeletons. Now, of interest, something worth noting, the Divine Blessing did not go off. So some of my Sawoi have gone berserk here, and you can see here they're blessed up to strength 20. So this is the goal. This is a Sawoi who has got a Saus who has gotten the bless. So he's gotten the strength +4, and he's gone berserk, and he's been hit with strength of giants. So he's a total of strength 20, which means he hits for 24 damage, and half the time it's piercing. Plus he's fire resistant. This is the dream. And yeah, very good. Plus he has Prot 17 because he got hit by Legions of Steel. So he's a solid unit. Not all of them are berserk though, because the Divine Blessing didn't get cast, and that is because of something that I really should have remembered, which is that I gave this Ujigami this Crystal Matrix, right? And this was like a linchpin of my strategy. Yeah, Crystal Matrices don't work on people who aren't mages. And having priest paths does not qualify you as a mage. So Sanetomo here is not in the communion. He's only Holy 1, he's not priest level 3, like I had hoped he was. What I need to do is, I need to have George Washington casting Divine Blessing, and he cast Fanaticism instead, which is fine, but, you know, not great. This Immortal Diabolist, who is vulnerable to fire, is being burned alive, which is unfortunate, but he's regenerating through it on the plus side. So, yeah, so we just storm through, kill everyone, the Polemark gets hit by a meteor and exploded, everything's great. We took a few casualties, lost 2 Centaur Chariots and 4 Sawoi, but it's okay. So, we're besieging that fortress. With all of our various vampires, including Very Healthy Living Sorcerer. We've got Joblo the Average Man, who is going to run over there, and Horde of Skeletons raid that province. Down here, we've got Okay, You Caught Me, I'm a Vampire. He's casting Dark Knowledge. And up here we've got Count Orlok II, who has picked up another load of Immortals, of Sacreds. He's moving up into the United Independent Coalition. He's going to grab all of these troops that are up here, including a couple more Sawoi, I think, and then head towards the front for them. Because as I've mentioned, Immortal Diabolists are actually pretty decent leaders. They have Leadership 80, they have a small morale bonus, they can use formations, all that good stuff. I will actually forge him, I think, a Helmet of Heroes. And I'll use my hammer to do that. Yes, my Dwarven Hammer. There we go. So we're forging the Helmet of Heroes. That does dip our fire gems a little bit, but we'll have enough fire gems because it's going to take us, I believe, 3 turns to get construction level 6. So in 3 turns, we'll have construction level 6. And then we will forge our Skull of Fire, which with Ilvitus, who we empowered in death. And we'll use that, give that Skull of Fire to the Spirit of 76, making him Fire 6, and then he will cast Eternal Pyre. So 3 turns, so turn 36, 37, 38, 39, we'll forge the Skull of Fire. On turn 40, exactly, we will cast Eternal Pyre. It's gonna be great. If anyone else casts Eternal Pyre before us, I will declare eternal war upon them and feed their soul to the Spirit of 76. So, fantastic stuff. Pumping out Magi. and not recruiting anything up there. One of my scouts, interestingly, has gone insane, so he must have been in R'hllala's Dominion for some period of time, which is sad. I do need to build one more temple somewhere to increase my spread chance. I'm blood hunting over here, not because this province is hugely valuable, because it has Death 3, so the population's going to drop anyway. In fact, it's already dropped below the ideal state. And so I would love to just rip out a few blood slaves from this province before they all go away. Esquania already has a lab in it, so it would also be a great blood hunting province, but it has a lot of income. So honestly, I would rather blood hunt over in Setica. And what I can do, even though that's 2 provinces distant from a fort, I can use vampires to transfer blood slaves, because I have a lot of vampires at this point. Like, it's turn 35. I have 1, 2. Do I have any vampires up there? I don't think so. 3, and then I have 6 up here, so I already have 9 vampires. And I feel like there's 1 or 2 that I'm missing. Oh, plus 1's dead, and so we'll be coming back. So I'm actually up to 10. And then this turn, I'm summoning 2 more. So, like, the vampire production line is definitely in progress. At this point, I'm well on my way to actually replacing large fractions of my mage corps with vampires. And of course, if vampires die, it's not a problem, because they're immortal, they'll just come back. The only thing that actually kills them is soul slaying, which isn't super common. We've got hundreds and hundreds of long dead up here, but that's okay. We have a non-aggression pact. I trust that he wouldn't backstab me. Plus, he knows that if he tries to backstab me with hundreds and hundreds of long dead, I actually have very effective long dead counters in the form of my communions and my vampires, who could be throwing wither bones. Now, I can't actually throw wither bones just yet, but I could, and that's what matters. Meanwhile, I'm still recruiting more adepts of the Iron Order, which is what's using up a lot of my money this round. We've got Pud, we've got Lobomag, we've got Visic, who doesn't really bring anything new to the table, but eh. And we are going to start casting with them Gnome Lore. Pud is researching. I'll have Visic also cast Gnome Lore. So we're doing a lot of remote site searching. We've still got 3 guys remote site searching with, or I'm sorry, 2 guys remote site searching with Arcane Probing. And now we've got the 2 guys Gnome Loring. I would like to also have somebody using Augury, but the only mages I have that can actually cast Augury are George Washington, who's in a war, and the Spirit of 76, who's 35 research points. Now, I could actually just have him start throwing Augury. It would use up 2 fire gems per turn, but that's fine. My income will still build it up. I need 80 to cast the spell in 4 turns. So no. No, actually, I need to stay with this. I need to leave this where it is. Okay, that's fine. So the Spirit of 76 will just research. We're casting our Arcane Probing, our Gnome Lores. Good. And we've got Dark Knowledge going out a little bit more. So cool. Yeah, since we've got a couple more provinces that haven't been Dark Knowledged. Excellent. We're recruiting in Amphalia, recruiting Bone Tribe Beast Hunters. Actually, do I need Bone Tribe Beast Hunters? Can I swap over to crossbows? Let's be recruiting crossbows here instead. And 2 Bone Tribe Beast Hunters. Okay, sounds good. We also have heavy cavalry here, but the resources are low enough until we conquer a few more provinces that I don't think it's super worth trying to churn out a whole bunch of them. There is an ancient temple here, which will give us a little bit more astral income, which will be very welcome. And then we also need to take, well, everything. We need to take everything. I need to move my vampires as fast as possible to snaffle up all of the Order of the Divine Flame as quickly as we can. Since he is AI, his defense will be much weaker. I should be able to pretty much clean him out without too much trouble. So, that is great. In any case, that is turn 35. Good turn all around. Rip Demise. I'm sorry. That's really funny. It's really funny. He went AI by accident. I love it. In any case, I have rescripted, incidentally, George Washington cast Divine Blessing and then Fanaticism. I'm still leaving the Fire Elemental script. It doesn't matter because he doesn't have any fire gems. This army would be looking a little bit thin, but I do have my 59 Sawe now, and they should be able to really give the business to the enemy. The Gifts from Heaven I honestly probably don't need. I don't think he has that many units left in there. But they might help. We'll drop a few gifts from heaven, some strength of giants, some strange fire. And, yeah. Should be a good time. Oh, and I'm also going to have all these guys assassinate, just in case I can catch a mage or two with my assassins. So, thanks for watching. See y'all in turn 36. Alright, folks, it's turn 36, and a patch just dropped. A pretty significant patch. Added a whole bunch of national summons to some of the Asian nations. Added a whole bunch of stuff, but one of the things that they did was they changed the way that Ulm's national vampire summoning spell works. The spell that I use to summon these guys. And of course, I've rewritten the chaff, the fluff of these guys. But here's the interesting thing. That spell no longer summons infinite standard vampire counts, this chassis. Actually, it's not quite this chassis. I'll talk about that in a second. Instead, it pulls from a pool of 8 unique late age Ulm vampire counts. And those late age Ulm vampire counts, as I mentioned, there's only 8 of them. And they're all slightly different, but one of them uses the same unit ID. So you can see I have right now 1, 2, 3, 4, because one came back, 5, 11, 12. I think I have 12 vampires right now. But all those vampires are now one of those specific chassis. And you can see that specific chassis has the Death 2 and Blood 2, but it also has Population Killer 10. So that chassis is the one that took over the unit ID of the old standard vampire count. There are 7 more, and once I've summoned all those 7 more, I don't think I'll be able to summon any more vampires. So I think I'm going to be stuck with 19 vampires for the remainder of the game, which is okay. I can live with 19 vampires, that's alright. Halemeyer, this turn, I captured 25 blood slaves, but then we caught an enemy sneaking around, some of these brigands, who had started a, tried to start a revolution, and we spammed spells at them, and I guess we didn't have any, well, all the blood slaves were already in the lab, so we just spammed zombies at them, because since there are so many corpses in this province, you can, my mages love spamming out zombies to use up those corpses. So yeah, we just overwhelmed them with our patrollers. Beyond that, we cast No More, didn't find anything. We cast Arcane Probing, didn't find anything. Cast another No More, didn't find anything. It's enough to really make you disappointed. We cast Dark Knowledge, didn't find anything. Kind of sucks. We did have the very first global just went up. The Mother Oak has just gone up from Blood Boys. So that is interesting. We tried to assassinate 4 Daducos. We killed 1 and lost 3 Stalkers, which is fine. In Strongdale, our Immortal Diabolist wiped out some province defense. Halemeyer, we had a Brigand Leader. Vipitre, we had some Misfortune. And the Wield, we had a bunch of gems. So not a great turn for Luck 3, but overall a pretty decent turn. The God of Ragharus has been permanently vanquished, and Perfectly Normal Human Wizard has returned to me. So Perfectly Normal Human Wizard is moving out with a whole bunch of these guys, of thralls that have been summoned, to use them as patrollers in Fields of Gold. We're moving out the rest of my vampires to help blood hunt Fields of Gold. And we're moving over Vano to lead troops into Fields of Gold to do that. Over here, we're storming Old Land. The AI, Order of the Divine Flame, is still just kind of standing around, so Joe Blow. I'll tell you what, I don't need all that many skeletons here, so Tusha Arpfangs and Very Healthy Human Wizard are gonna zip down here. Actually, those two will go there, along with Dr. Acula, I think, and then Alucard and Erip Mav can go down there, along with Joe Blow. So we'll get, and we'll just send them all back. And we'll just move everybody on back to the back rows. There we go, and they'll spam their skeletons and wipe out the troops there, take those provinces for me. And yeah, overall, I think I'm doing okay. I could have more territory, but I'm doing alright. My research is certainly quite healthy. We'll hit construction level 6 in 2 turns. And we'll get the Eternal Pyre active at that time. Up here, we're starting to blood hunt in Monarch Woods. We've dipped below 5,000 population here, so we just want to blood hunt like whatever we can while we have the chance. So we're just gonna blood hunt it up a little bit here. We've got a few troops, so we'll use Olga to patrol. And we're still recruiting more crossbows here, which is fine. Yeah, just churn out some crossbows. Yeah, overall things are going well. So I am casting Rites of Immortality twice more. Since that is just a reskinned version of the Ulm spell, that should summon me up 2 of the unique Ulmish vampire counts, which is, it's sort of annoying to lose all the work that I did putting in the fluff and all that on these guys, but oh well, it'll be fine. Some of the new vampire counts are fairly disappointing. Some of them are actually really, really cool. There's an Earth 2 Thug chassis that wears, he's essentially an Ulmish Black Lord, except he also has Earth 2, Death 1, and Blood 2, and is immortal, of course. And, of course, has Invulnerability 25, because he's a vampire. So, that's pretty hilarious. He's a fantastic immortal Thug chassis, even ungeared. There's a guy who's Death 3, which is quite useful. There's a guy, Count Orlok, actually, so this is Count Orlok II, Count Orlok's kid. There's a Blood 3-1, there's one who's a Seducer, albeit not a great mage. And then there are 3, I think, who are just Blood 2, Death 2, like the old standard vampire count. And this one happens to have Pop Kill. One of the others has, I think, a shit ton of Fear. And one of them has, like, I forget what. In any case, one of them has better base stats at a sword attack instead of life drain. But yeah, overall, things are pretty neat. I do need to upgrade this to a Citadel at some point, but I'm a little bit short of gold. Once I take the Order of the Divine Flame, that should even up a little bit. And I do have another Earth Gem from that site there, so that's fine. I can't actually draw that Earth income yet. I need to take these provinces and draw a line back through all these provinces I own in order to get it. We're going to bump that up to 11 province defense, just to keep these polar marks from rampaging out to attack us. And our army here, we do have the Divine Blessing actually set to work this time. So we should be able to just kind of storm in. We've got Elohar doing his thing that he does because he's not a very good mage. Yeah. Should go just fine, to be honest. I don't think there'll be any problems. And we still got one vampire. We've still got Apim Pier out front, providing reporting for the Ascension Wars to the people back home, the lead reporter of the People's Daily. So, these 2 guys are down here in Setica. They should start blood hunting Setica. I'm going to need to move some patrollers down for them. Don't have any available right now. What I would like to do, actually, at some point here would be to get Blood 1 and just start summoning binding Fiery Imps, because you can bind Fiery Imps to use as free patrollers. My vampires can lead them now. Of course, since I don't have infinite vampires anymore, I have to be a little bit more careful about that, but one conjurer can lead a ton of imp patrollers, and they can do a pretty good job patrolling down Unrest. So that's the way we'll do that. In any case, that's turn 36. Fairly brief, nothing super unusual is going on, but it'll be interesting to see how that patch affects things. I think my national spell is the only one that was actually like broken or changed radically by the patch, so it shouldn't be a problem. In any case, thanks for watching. Oh, I need to move off again. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all on turn 37. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's turn 37. We've cast Rites of Immortality twice, and we got 2 of the new Ulmish vampires. So we got Mirkala and Arthur von Dirksen. So Mirkala is Death 1, Blood 2, so slightly worse than a standard vampire, magically speaking. But she is a seducer, which is pretty neat. So, and she can fly too, so she can seduce enemy mages, potentially fly away with them, or if the seduction fails, she goes into a battle. Now, in a battle, of course, she can fly, she does have invulnerability, and I've given her a Dusk Dagger, because I have a couple of Dusk Daggers. So, she can use that to do armor negating damage, so she's going to be a pretty effective assassin. I've also given her a Black Steel Plate, just to have a little protection against magical attacks. Arthur von Dirksen, on the other hand, is a basic, he's the same as the basic vampire counts, except his stats are better. And he has a short sword attack instead of life drain, which is actually a pretty significant downside. But with invulnerability 25, the resistance to slash and blunt, the regeneration, 19 hit points, and high base stats, you could thug this guy, or you could at least turn him into a pretty efficient raider, which is probably what I will do. Also, of course, in Dominion, he summons thralls, which is, you know, handy. And unlike the ones that the chassis that my Immortal Diabolists have taken over, he doesn't have Pop Kill. So these guys all have Pop Kill, which is unfortunate. The name, I don't think we're going to see the name of this one that we overwrote, or the backstory, but you can find him. So there's only going to be 7 of the uniques, since one of them has been overwritten by this information. In any case, we've got some assassins down here who are going to kind of move into Rim Mountains. We're launching a whole bunch of vampires to attack Gaeta. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vampires attacking Gaeta, 2 of which I haven't renamed. And up here we've got 6 vampires attacking the Order of the Divine Flame, just trying to lock down what's left of the Order of the Divine Flame. Now, I took Old Land this turn, the Fortress of Old Land. Unfortunately, I took a lot of friendly fire on my Saoi in the process. We can see, we do get to see the buffed Saoi here. So these guys, when they're buffed up with the strength bonus, the attack bonus, and then also the enchantment, they end up hitting for 24, which is pretty good with magical weapons, all that good stuff. My Demons of Heavenly Fires once again did most of the work. And as we watch the battle go, we can see they're, sending in their shots, killing people out. The Saoi got killed partially by friendly fire, and then they also took a lot of damage from the Fire Drakes and the Frost Drake. So very good, honestly, very good use of the Fire and Frost Drakes. Some friendly fire there. And they stormed in. A lot of them just got killed because there was a lot of AoE damage coming in on this area. But they managed to swarm through and do some pretty good fighting. In particular, you can see these Saoi here just taking this polemark to pound town. Even with 30 protection, that 24 damage they do is definitely enough. And then the Demons of Heavenly Fires came swarming in at the end. But yeah, those meteors, I think, hurt me more than the enemy, actually. But so yeah, my Demons of Heavenly Fires got 26 kills, the 10 of them. My Magi got 22 kills. I lost 25 of my Saoi, so pretty significant losses. But overall, not bad. I did lose 1 Magus as well. We wiped out a significant force of the enemy, including 4 polemarks. We're just cleaning up at this point. There's just not much left. There's a few polemarks still here in the Order of the Divine Flame. There's some units in Gaeta. This whole army, I'm just going to move immediately on the Order of the Divine Flame. These 3 mages are going to join us. They'll move down here, pick up a few more recruits. We've also got this force under Count Orlok II moving forward to join us. He's slowed down, unfortunately, because these troops are map move 12. So Count Orlok II will take a little while to get to us, but he's going to march up through here, through Edirol, Amphalia, pick up more troops there. I don't actually need that warrior mage then, so we can just make this a conjurer. And make it a Magus. With the change to the vampire summons, blood is going to be less important to me. It's still important, like blood is still an important and valuable asset. But I will actually have to research blood magic at some point here. And I can run down blood magic to... If I can run down blood magic to level 7 and get Curse of Blood, then I can start actually summoning, real vampire lords. But until I reach them, which will be sometime later on in the game, it's not nearly so important to me. What I may do, actually, is empower Adepts of the Iron Order in blood in order to summon Demon Knights. But that's for later. For right now, we're just going to run through the remaining unique vampires, get some stuff done with them. We've got Zambarth patrolling down here. We've got these vampires moving out. Yeah, so we're cleaning up the rest of the Order of the Divine Flame, at which point we'll be in a pretty good position. Our income has gone up significantly. It'll go up significantly again once we actually take the Order of the Divine Flame, which will take a few turns because its wall integrity is very high, and my siege strength has lowered. So we'll definitely need to get some more troops in there. We've conquered a whole bunch of the Order of the Divine Flame's territory, gotten a little bit more gem income. We're going to take that one as well. I need to contact Techrate and make friends with them. And we can see here that Blood Boys are actually making a pretty hefty play for the game. The Blood Boys have the Throne of the First Age. They have the Throne of Misfortune. So that's that one, and that one should be. I think they also have this throne. So that's 3. And if we look at the thrones, all the thrones are level 2. You need 6 in order to become the new god. I've got 1. The Sacreds of Hell have got 1 here. Ilwinter has got 1 down there. Ilwinter's doing pretty well, actually. There's 1 here. That's a Springhawk throne that hasn't been taken yet. I just need to gear somebody up with tons of shock resist, and I can drop a vampire on it and take it. That would be, I think, pretty effective. Pretty good use of my time. In order to do that, I'll need a Storm Spool and a Copper Plate on a vampire. And I think Storm Spool and Copper Plate on a vampire will pretty much let me do it. So I'm just going to forge... I'm just going to go ahead and start forging that. I have that Thug vampire that I can use, the Earth 2 one. So we can have Ophagian forge a Storm Spool. We can have you forge a Copper Plate. That'll be 40 shock resist. Yeah, that should be fine. And then, assuming I summon him in the next turn or 2, I can send him over there to take out Swinland, because the Springhawks will surround him. And I should also forge... him a Thunder Whip. Because it does lightning damage. And is only single target. It's Chain Shock. Actually, I guess I don't necessarily need the Chain Shock. The Lightning Spear does more damage, so against the... Well, actually, because Springhawks are ethereal, aren't they? You don't necessarily want your weapon to be doing magical damage. Because that's not shock damage, that's just magic damage. Okay, so yeah, just a standard weapon. Like, a weapon that doesn't even do magic damage is really what you want. Or something that's really, really difficult for your guy to wield. Okay, well, we'll see what he comes out with. I think he comes with non-magical weapons, but we'll... if not, I can send Archer von Dirksen, because von Dirksen has a... He has a non-magical weapon, so that would be fine as well, plus regeneration. In any case, so I can take that out with a shock resistance geared thug to turn timer it pretty quickly if I want to. Up here, we're still recruiting Conjurers. Over here, recruiting Magi. Down here, recruiting Conjurer. Great. So yeah, that's the turn. In terms of research, we're going to hit construction level 6 next turn. We will build a Skull of Fire, and we will then cast Eternal Pyre to kick my Fire Gem income up to 24, which would be pretty great. My gem income currently is okay. It's turn 37, so it's actually fairly... Like, the game's been going on a little while, to be honest. I mean, longer than I would think, just thinking back to how the game has been. Only finishing up my first war here on turn 37 means I'm pretty much behind the curve of people who want to win the game. There are well over 1,000 cultists up to my north, so I'm definitely going to need some more Magi in order to stem the tide there. It's all Conjurers that I have up there, so actually, I'll tell you what. I'm going to close those guys out. I'm going to swap over to recruiting Magi up there, because I need more Magi. I have to have more Magi up here in order to dissuade the long dead horde, because currently I'm a little bit short on combat Magi. My research is 721 per turn, which I don't actually need right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all those Magi. I'm going to start moving them north. Because if the undead come for me, I will need some defenses. Right now, Monarch Woods is very lightly defended. And so if Mechrite ends our non-aggression pact, I'll have 3 turns to pile in the troops that I would need to hold off a couple thousand long dead, plus assassins and all kinds of fun shit. So we'll see how that goes. Defensive assassinations could be very, very powerful on my end. So actually, I mean, I could... do I need to recruit Magi? I'll start recruiting double assassins out of here. I'll have a whole bunch of assassins in Monarch Woods, so I can defensively assassinate anyone who comes in to try and attack me. Great. And that, I think, will be the turn. So I'll see you all in turn 38. Oh yeah, I was looking at my gem income. So 8, 9, 14, 21, 25. Yeah, 25 gems per turn on turn 37. Not fantastic. Once I get the Eternal Pyre, I'll be in a lot better shape. I need to do a little bit more site searching for gems around in these provinces. And yeah, then I should be in a solid position to start really churning out the Demons of Heavenly Fires and making them a major part of my armies. So, in any case, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in turn 38.